News at 5:30 starts now.
Could a major environmental rollback in California have ripple effects here in Vermont? Thank you for joining us at 5:30. I'm Darren Perrin.
And I'm Kiana Burks. Governor Gavin Newsom this week signed a law rolling back key components of the state's landmark environmental regulations with the aim of trying to ease the housing crunch. Those California regulations were first enacted back in 1970. The very same year, Vermont passed Act 250, the land use law that has governed growth and development here.
Channel 3's Calvin Cutler is live in the studio now. Will Vermont follow California's lead and roll back Act 250?
Yeah, Darren and Kiana, good evening. This is not a new question in Vermont. Act 250 has been the center of a decades-long debate on whether it's contributed to some of the state's most pressing issues. Born from the emerging environmental movement in the 1960s to rein in expansive development in ski towns brought by the nascent interstate highway, it was signed into law by Governor Dean Davis in 1970.
You know, up in Calif, Vermont, I ran into a farmer up there that said to me once, he said, "You know, Governor," he said, "we got air up here in Calif that ain't never been breathed."
Act 250 plays a major role in why the Green Mountain State looks and feels the way it does. The law has been at the center of a decades-old debate over whether it goes too far in limiting development. Some say Act 250 has stifled economic growth, keeping the population from growing and creating a housing crisis.
We need to change directions.
Former Burlington Mayor Moreau Weinberger is spearheading a statewide initiative at the State House to spur housing growth and reverse the demographic tide. He says Act 250's restraints on growth are in part to blame for the fiscal struggles of our times, like homelessness and soaring costs of healthcare and education.
We have made it very hard to deliver housing, healthcare, science, and innovation breakthroughs that we need to thrive.
State lawmakers made big changes to Act 250 last year, trying to make it easier to build housing in urban centers. But others disagree that Act 250 is the root of our problems.
Act 250 has been a piñata almost since it was created. The backlash started early.
Bruce Post served under Governor Richard Snelling and Senator Jim Jeffords. He contends that Vermont has seen controlled growth since Act 250 and worries about the gradual chipping away of Vermont's signature land use law.
I think we've abandoned things to the developer and real estate caucus, and based on information that hasn't been fully understood or examined.
This summer, state leaders are making more changes to the law, redrawing where and how Act 250 is applied.
They should be focused on the outcomes we want, specifically the outcome of more housing.
Now, this debate comes in a new political environment following last November's elections when Vermont Democrats lost their supermajority at the State House. And it still remains to be seen whether lawmakers will also recalibrate and revisit Act 250 and other environmental regulations. Live in studio, Calvin Cutler, Channel 3 News.
Calvin, thank you.